Welcome to my video about my horse poop project. In the beginning we only had one horse, so we just threw all the horse poop here. And that worked well, but it took a year before it turned into good fertilizer. So instead I looked a lot on the internet and I found out that this was the right way to do it. And this is actually iteration number 3. The first time we installed all the pipes and we put these sections of wall that I will show you in a second down that was made out of metal. And to my great surprise, after about 3 months, the tubes already corroded almost away, and after a year they didn't exist. And then we repaired them, we changed the metal to plastic, and that didn't work as well either because they got ripped. And this is our final iteration where we're now making them out of concrete. So the idea with this project is that the horse, as you will see, the poop, as you will see, comes from the horses and it gets put here. After about 3 weeks, we flip it all into the next place and we put water on it. And then we go into the corner, number 3, subsequently number 4, and number 5. And in the end, after about 6 times 3, what is that? That's 18 weeks. It comes out here and it is pure black gold. Now we're still in the middle of installing these concrete walls, and I'll show you how we're making them. But it looks like this will be my final iteration, and hopefully this will last for many, many years. The only thing is that these pipes here will still corrode, and that is because the urine in the horse manure is very, very corrosive. We really should have made these out of concrete, but we already had them in the ground and this was full of horse poop, so we couldn't really just move it all away and start all over. But in the end, I think we're going to have something that lasts for a long time. Hopefully you will find this interesting.
So these are the old pipes, and as you can see they're severely corroded, and this is actually just after 3 months exposed to the horse poop. And here you can see the pipes in the background, they're also severely corroded. So this is version number 1 and version number 2, and it did not work. So this is evidence of a failure on my farm. So this is where we're creating the concrete sections. What Hafed is doing here is he's preparing the molds, and here we also made a mistake. Initially we had a square mold and it turned out to be impossible to remove, and here they are cut. So here we have the molds ready, and we are painting them with old oil to make sure the concrete can slip, and we have pre-cut rebar. And once he's done, we're moving on to the pouring, and there's a couple of tricks there as well. So here we are pouring the concrete into the molds, and what is important with the rebar is of course that it stays in the middle. So first we're going to put a little concrete down, and then we're going to lift the rebar up and then finalize it. Now we're just smoothing it out, and that little tube I'm going to zoom into there is very important. We will pull that out later, and it provides a hole in the concrete so we can lift the pieces. Now here are the wall sections from the last couple of days lined out, and there's a couple of things to notice here. First of all, we're giving them a number. That's just so we can tell how old they are. And in this footage here, you'll see that the one on top are actually the oldest one. They've been curing for 2 days. And this one here my daughter found and put her hands in, so that's part of life here. And in a moment we will be removing the top one. This is the moment of truth. These were poured probably about 4 hours ago, and now we're going to try to take the molds off. If you wait too long, they can't come off, and if it's too early, they've collapsed. So that one seemed to work. We have beautiful corners. Next one. And that one seems to work as well. That means we have waited just exactly the right amount of time. Now this is the second part that can be tricky. After 2 days we can try to lift them. If we poured enough oil on them originally, they will release from the plastic. You have to carry them vertically. They're still not ready to be installed. And that one worked. So now we're getting ready to install them. We have our welder sitting there, and the ground wire of the welder is connected to the frame. And since concrete doesn't conduct electricity, we also installed some rebar on the top. I'm going to show you there. So every post is connected to every other post, and that means that we can weld the little holders on every single one of the vertical posts. And here's one, and he's welding. He's adding the little pieces of metal that is going to hold the wall sections, and because of the rebar I showed you in the previous frame, he can weld over here in the corner. So this is where we get to enjoy the finalized project. We clean the horse stalls every day, every other day, put it in the wheelbarrows, and then we haul it off and put it in the first of the 6 cages where it's piled up. Once it is full, we will move it to the second cage, then to the third. Eventually it ends up in number 6, and after 18 weeks we have organic fertilizer. Hope you enjoyed this project.